Okay, let's move on to another game. And, Manchester City. Wow. Now we're talking. So Man City 2, Crystal Palace 2. Michael Olise scores a penalty in stoppage time to make it 2-2. Jean-Philippe Mateta scored in the 76th minute. Rico Lewis scores and Jack Grealish scores for Manchester City. Okay, so my kind of take right now on Man City is, they're missing a couple of players. Erling Haaland, of course, is being out at the moment. Kevin De Bruyne has been a long-term guy, and Jeremy Doku as well. Some of the football looks really, really good, and for the most part, they've scored plenty of goals. Defensively, Tim, I'd probably rather focus the conversation. Yeah. And I remember saying the last couple of years, Robbie, we've had, of course, doing this, and I said, wow, I think City, the Champions League last year, they brought in Guardiola, they've got, Kanji's emergence, and Ruben, everybody coming fit, Stones, I'm like, Walker, goalkeeper, they're such a stronger defensive team over the last couple of years. What's happening? What's happening defensively? Why are they conceding so many goals?
Well, I think that when you look at City, they've gotten a bit bored, and that's probably disrespectful because, they are one of the greatest teams the Premier League has ever seen. But when we look at their drop, the amount of points that they've dropped, that's not synonymous with City. No. City get the goal, then they dominate possession, they dictate the tempo, then they get another goal, and they just put you to sleep. They don't even allow you back in the game. And what they've done recently with all these drop points is they've allowed teams back in the game, and it's almost been like irresponsible defending from world-class defenders, from world-class players. My opinion is, and I said this to you on the show yesterday, if we're seeing it, the best manager in the world is seeing it too. His backroom staff is seeing it. They're on the plane. They're in the hotel. They're in the manager's office. They're going to figure this out. This trend will not continue all season because he, as you said, he has so many world-class defenders. At a certain point, he may just say, "Hey, the ones who can do the business are going to stay in the team. Forget this chopping and changing." Because Pep has always shown a desire and patterns of he's going to get it right. There's not many things that are broken, but when they're broken, he fixes them. And so I think that's going to be the case defensively. But you're right; it's been so irresponsible, the defending.
I mean, I kind of called it unprofessional.
Yeah.
Even the Phil Foden kind of challenge on Mateta for the penalty was a lash out trying to clear the ball. Yeah. They felt a little nervy. Was it? I think you said, didn't you, in the studio, like at 2-1, like, well, this isn't done. No. Against Crystal Palace, so normally, they go on and take control of the game. I mean, it's crazy to me, and there was something a little different in the setup with Rico Lewis starting in midfield alongside Roger, but nothing in that lineup would make you think that they couldn't brush aside, really, some ways, Palace team that have been depleted, and and Roy Hodgson's been saying some strange things about his time there, probably coming to an end. Just a thought on Crystal Palace, Tim, and Roy Hodgson, and it's obviously a good result for them. My kind of thought on Palace right now is, and I understand the pressure from the fans that might be saying, well, we've been in the Premier League for a while now, but we're seeing the likes of Brentford, Fulham, of course, Brighton and others kind of, Bournemouth are ahead of them now as well on the table, that are progressing more than Palace. Do you think that Roy Hodgson's kind of getting a bit of a stick because other managers done good jobs at other clubs? Sure. Not that he's changed at all, but is it fair, or should they expect more of the fans, I guess?
Well, I think it's fair. I do. I think Roy Hodgson has been a fantastic manager for many years. He has a certain style, somewhat old school style because of the way that the game has evolved.
Yeah, it's changed, yeah.
And so, you do see clubs who are less established shooting up the table. But again, when you talk about their recruitment and you talk about the managers they bring in, there is a new style of football that's being played. It's the way that the new managers are coaching. They tried, with Patrick Vieira, they brought him in to bring a different way.
Yeah.
Didn't necessarily work out towards the end, brought Roy Hodgson back. If they want to crack on and get up the table consistently, they're going to have to bring in an innovative young manager who plays in the vein of your Eddie Howe's and De Zerbi's and Postecoglou and Unai Emery. This is a style thing. When I look at Palace, they're 15th. I always see Palace as a 12 to 14th place type of club. That's where they're going to finish. If they have a really cracking year, they might be in the top of the table somewhere. But ultimately, that's where they belong. That's who they are until that changes.
Yeah, I think the thing to add as well on this result is the players they've got out, Tim, and that's why so many people fancied Man City. I mean, Sam Johnson, the goalkeeper, was out. Odsonne Edouard, the top goal scorer, the striker, is out. Jefferson Lerma, midfield player. Henderson was actually fit and actually did start the game. Dean Henderson, goalkeeper. I want to just get a quick shout on you in a minute on him. Eberechi Eze came off the bench, and Doucouré's out with a snapped Achilles tendon. So they've got injury issues. Just on the goalkeeper situation, it's always good to get a take on that, Tim, a little bit when we have this. Sam Johnson's injured, and Dean Henderson's been a bit of a story.
Yeah.
Man United, he was expected to take over from De Gea. Sure. Maybe is he a little bit outspoken, Tim? He's chopped around a little bit. I think you quite like him, don't you, as a goalkeeper?
Yeah, I don't think he's a little bit outspoken. I think he's a lot outspoken, and he really likes himself. He's a big character, big goalkeeper. Yeah, I like him. It didn't quite happen for him at Manchester United, and that's okay. And he thought he would get a shot. And look, he thought he was better than clearly the scouts thought he would be. That's no problem. He went on loan a couple of times, done really well on loan. And this is an opportunity to take the number 1 shirt, make it his, and really establish himself at a good Premier League football club. And if he does that, yeah, I do think Dean Henderson is a good goalkeeper.
Do you want to follow up a little bit there, right? Just a little goalkeeper angle here. We moved on from Man United, but Andre Onana said some things about I'm going to be. Yeah, don't worry about me. I'm going to be okay at this club. I've been world class at my last club. Yeah. In general, give us a little. I know you're very different, but on that range of being humble to being confident, I want what your thoughts on what you think the best take is. But ultimately, people are different, Tim. But does it favour a mental kind of personality to be successful, or is it okay to be brash or super humble?
I think it's whatever works, Mustoe. When you look at goalkeepers, particularly top-level goalkeepers, with Onana, he had to come out and say everything was going to be okay. So that was kind of a red flag for me. If you're having to defend yourself,
he says it in a flippant way, don't worry about me.
In a very flippant way. And even today, we saw a couple of, a couple of Cruyff turns that went his way. He dropped a few balls. Look, that has obviously crept into his game. I don't disagree that in the past he's been world class at other clubs he's been at, but right now he's not. It's good every now and again you have to fight your corner, and if you feel like your name is being talked about wrongly, do you come out and back yourself?
Yeah,
of course. You should. There's no problem. Yeah. And I think goalkeepers do that in a certain way. The problem is that those quotes will be kept and put on a hanger because they're going to come out again if things don't go great. So, look, I think as a goalkeeper, you have to be singularly focused. You have to be tough-minded, real thick skin. And he clearly has that because even today we saw some smiles, and he doesn't really flinch when he drops the ball or makes mistakes, so good on him. Now, he has a manager that currently is backing him, which is brilliant. I can assure you that doesn't last terribly long if those mistakes continue to happen.
Hi there, I'm Rebecca Lowe, studio host for NBC's coverage of the Premier League. Don't forget to hit subscribe to watch more videos all season long. And for even more Premier League content, from original series to live matches, head over to Peacock. And be sure to tune in for Premier League mornings every weekend on USA Network and on Peacock. We will see you there.